guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about what it's like to have a pet mini pig. This is Petunia, my mini pig, teacup pig, micro pig, whatever you want to call her. She's actually a Juliana mini pig. It's her breed, and she's actually pink, let me tell you. She is a pink pig, but she is incredibly filthy today, so that's okay. We're gonna be talking about the real life expectations of having a pig like this. But before we get started, please hit that subscribe button down below if you love animals, because you won't want to miss out on anything as cute as this. So I've made a lot of videos on mini pigs and videos about debunking the myths around having a miniature pig. So today's video is not really going to focus on that. It's going to focus on more of what it's like to actually have it as a pet, not about debunking the myths. So I really hope that by now, if you're watching this video, you already have it completely out of your head that a pig is going to be anything less than 40 pounds. So micro minis, teacups, mini pigs, whatever kind of crazy nonsense they want to come up with what they call these pigs. Hopefully by now you already understand that these are going to be about this size, more or less. There's some that are a tiny bit smaller, there's some that are much bigger, of course. But the important thing is to know that these are not going to be tiny animals. So what I was saying before is that a pig is not going to be the size of a chihuahua. So if you're still under that impression, if you still think that there's tiny little pigs that you can get and keep as pets, please stop this video right now and go watch my video, The Truth About Mini Pigs. I'm going to link it down below in the description. Especially if you think that micro mini is a breed of pig, it's not. Any of those terms are descriptions. So if you aren't aware of pig breeds, I would say go check out my whole playlist on pigs before continuing. So I guess the first thing that we can say about mini pigs is that they're about the size of a large dog. Body-wise, their legs are pretty small. But don't worry, I'll still get somebody will comment down below in this video. They'll comment that you can get mini pigs that are smaller, that you can go and get a teacup pig and they're like 20 pounds. Just, why internet, why? But yeah, so somebody's gonna comment that on this video. Typically, the pigs are closer to 100 pounds. Like I said, very small is 40 pounds. Average for very well bred pigs like Petunia, probably like between 60 to 80 pounds, but anything less than 300 pounds is a mini pig. So when you buy a mini pig, you never really know how big it's gonna get. It's impossible to really determine the size. And so it doesn't matter, what you do to try to ensure it. And that's one thing, is that a breeder should never say, be nice to your friend, Petunia. A breeder might say that they can guarantee the size. That's a lie. That's not a good breeder to go with. So there's no way to determine it. And you can try to do certain things. Nature's being loud today. You can try to do certain things like look at the genetics, the history, the parents, all of that, and that's a good way to do it. Just remember that a mini pig is not full grown until they're 4 years old. They can have babies way before that. So if the parents are tiny and somebody comments, well, the parent is 35 pounds, that's possible. They could have bred the pig very young, and that is possible. But we're talking about, when we talk about size, we're talking about a healthy adult. So an adult that's not underweight, an adult that doesn't have health conditions, an adult, not a baby pig. So we're talking about a pig that's a couple of years old. So before you get a mini pig, you have to be willing to commit to something this size or even larger, because you could end up with something twice this size. And so therefore they need a lot of room to roam around on. They need a large yard. They just need space. And I've heard about people keeping these pigs in apartments or things like that. I feel like the longer I have Petunia, the more I disagree with keeping pigs in apartments. It just doesn't seem right to me. The longer I have her, the more I just think that it's probably not a good idea. Here, you want some food, little chicken? And I'm not saying that you need a huge yard in order to keep a pig. That's not what I'm saying either. In fact, I think that there's a lot of residential homes that do have big enough yards for miniature pigs. So I'm not saying you need to live on a big piece of land, that you need to have like a little mini farm. Just space for them to be able to walk around. That's all they need. So the next thing I wanted to bring up is potty training. So this is something that whenever I'm talking to other people about my pet pig, people that have never really heard of one, they're so shocked by the idea that you can potty train them. Pigs are very easy to potty train, actually. It's pretty amazing. They're easier to potty train than dogs. I think that there's a lot of scientific articles that even say pigs are smarter than dogs. Not always a good thing, but they're really easy to potty train. You can train them to go outside. Some people train their pig to go in a litter box, but this kind of goes back to what I was saying about size. The idea of having to clean out a litter box for Petunia is absolutely horrifying to me. So gross. So I have her go outside like a dog. You know, they let you know when they need to go outside. They can hold it for long periods of time. Personally, I think they do better at it than dogs. So in that aspect, they are like a dog because they will let you know when they need to go to the bathroom. If it's raining outside, they may refuse to go. But in other ways, they are very different than dogs. So for example, I think with most dogs, with a lot of dogs, you can embrace them, you can cuddle with them, even hug them depending on the dog. But with pigs, you can't really do that. Petunia, the first year that I had her since she was about 8 weeks old. The first year that I had her, she was a lot more cuddly, and I could actually hold her. I could get her up on the bed with me and sit her. And she would even, we'll see if these peacocks come out on the camera. They're trying to walk by. She would even sit on my lap a lot. But as she got older, she didn't want to be hugged so much, and it's something she really doesn't like now. I think that's something to be aware of with them, is that they're not a super cuddly, affectionate animal. Very intelligent, so they show their affection in other ways, not so much through physical ways. Now, that's not to say that they don't like attention. Petunia loves attention. She likes to be scratched, depending on the day, really. And if I start scratching her belly, she really likes that, and she'll even flip over onto her side and let me scratch her belly. She really, really likes that. So they do like some forms of physical interaction, but a little bit more standoffish than other animals, you know, like cats and dogs. As you can see, she also loves snacks and treats. I have some food on the ground for her so that I can keep her attention for a while. If it looks like it's snowing, this is actually cotton, okay? So unfortunately, because they are so crazy about food, a lot of pet pig owners neglect their pig. And usually when you think of neglect, you think of not providing something to the pig, not providing enough food, making them live in dirty conditions. Neglect can also be overindulgence. In such cases, their health is neglected, and people overfeed their pigs in order to try to satisfy them, and they become extremely overweight very quickly. You're never gonna satisfy a pig by giving it food. Like, it's never going to be satisfied when it's eating. It's not. I have seen Petunia to the point where she's gotten into stuff accidentally, and she can't get satisfied to the point where she'll actually make herself sick. So they will make themselves very sick before they actually get full. And so when she's gotten into food or things like that, she just eats until she literally can't stand anymore. So weight is a constant struggle with these animals, and it's something that you have to manage every day. Right now, Petunia's a little overweight. She needs to lose a little bit of weight, and this is my fault. I've moved her outside for the summer because, you know, she lives in my house, but she really likes being outside, so I've fixed it so that she can be outside mostly all the time during the summer. Now, I overcompensated for the amount of calories that I thought she would be burning by living outside almost full time. So I need to adjust her food. I guess not starting today, starting tomorrow, Petunia. I need to adjust her food and start helping her lose weight. Just like with humans, there is plenty of things that can, harm them from being overweight. There's plenty of health issues that come up, high cholesterol, heart problems, breathing problems, joint problems. But things that are more specific just to pigs is that she'll have problems with all her joints because she's on all fours. Her back should be, it's actually pretty straight right now. Her back's pretty straight still. The back will start sagging, and you'll see it sometimes on photos on the internet of pigs. They'll have a back that's like this. That means they're overweight. Leads to a lot of health problems. The other thing is that they'll actually build up fat around this area everywhere, but they'll build it up here too, and it'll start sagging over their eyes and they won't be able to see. So to have a pet pig, you have to be willing to constantly work at keeping them healthy. Now, pigs do bond very closely with their owners and they form a really strong bond, a connection. But pigs are also something that's going to try to see what their limits are. They don't see you as someone that's, for them to just adore and love like dogs do, and they will push. They will see how far they can push you. And so I think to own a pig, you have to be somewhat tough with them in order to train them and all of that. Because they're pushy, and that's why I don't recommend them around kids. Sometimes it works out, but I wouldn't tell somebody, yes, you should buy your kids a pet pig, because they can harm a kid. I mean, they're not a small animal, and they will try to push, and they can end up hurting the kid. But through training and just spending time with them, they do form a really good bond with you. And Petunia has a really good bond with me. I can tell that she really does like me. She, loves me. She misses me when I'm gone, and we just have a really great relationship. We enjoy each other's company. She likes being around me, even when we aren't focusing our attention on each other. She likes being there. So, for example, I'll scratch or rub her belly and she enjoys that. But sometimes when I'm working, she enjoys just being in the same room with me. One of the really neat things about Petunia is that she enjoys music. And I think that's something that says a lot about her intelligence, the intelligence of her species to be able to enjoy music. And so she actually has favorite kinds of music. You can tell because she wags her tail when she's happy. She enjoys country music and 1950s oldies. And some fun things that I enjoy about Petunia is her love of water. She loves it when we irrigate. She goes and gets in the pond. She has her own little kiddie pool. She just absolutely loves water. She loves swimming in it. And true to the stereotype, she loves mud. And she loves covering herself in mud, as you can see. And that's just really neat. It's fun to watch her. Petunia interacts with other animals really well. She doesn't really care too much for the corgis. She doesn't like them. But any other animal she actually gets along with very well. Huh, Petunia. Mwah. And her favorite is actually rabbits. She loves rabbits. And the way that I know is because Petunia will not share her food with anyone else. As you could see, she was pushing the chicken away. If it was a rabbit, she wouldn't have pushed him away. That's how I can tell that she loves rabbits a lot. She's willing to share her food. I guess this really depends on how the pig was raised, because I hear a lot of people saying that their pigs are very bad with other animals, to the point where they'll even try to kill them. But I really think that it's how you raise them, and I think it has to do with the home. I don't think it's necessarily how they actually are as a species. And actually, you can learn more about Petunia's love for rabbits by watching her Draw My Life video. Really fun video, check it out. Another thing I like doing with Petunia is that during the summer, I'll give her half a watermelon, and she loves it. She just goes crazy eating her watermelon. I also take Petunia on car rides. I've trained her to get into my Mini Cooper all by herself, and it's really fun to go through the drive-thru at Chick-fil-A, and everybody's just, their faces when they see me driving around with my little pig. It's pretty funny. But it does have other benefits too. Like if I had to take her to a vet's office, that would be convenient. Okay, so I know we're losing a lot of daylight. I hope it's not getting too dark right now. But I wanted to try to finish. I had a few more things I wanted to talk about. For example, I think it's very important to understand that these animals, pigs, will not do something that they don't want to do. So that's why training is so important. And you have to just try to work with them, get them used to things, because it's so hard to force them to do something they don't want to. For example, a good example with Petunia is that her hooves are way too long. I hate how long her hooves are right now. But basically, I have two options, to get her hooves done, and it's either to put my family in a bad situation or to put Petunia in a dangerous situation. And so the last time we trimmed Petunia's nails, my dad was bleeding a lot. Jaime had bruised ribs, and I had a concussion, so it was hard. That was the last time we tried to trim her nails when she was in a bad mood. I've trimmed her nails other times since then too, where she does very well and she lets me, but she's been in a mood recently where she doesn't want her feet touched, and it takes just tons of time and training to try to work through that. And so the other way would be to have her taken to a vet's office and put under anesthesia to have her nails trimmed. Now, pigs do not do well under anesthesia. It's very dangerous, and the chances of her not coming out of it are way too high for me to risk it. To me, it's better to just let her nails be long than to put her through that situation, because she could die. So basically, I've kind of just chosen to keep waiting for her mood to change. Her mood will change eventually, and we'll just work through it and keep trying, and she'll let me trim them eventually. But maybe that will give you some perspective on what it's like to have a mini pig. It's just, sometimes it's very hard. Having a very hard time with her feet right now. Pigs are amazing animals because they are so smart. They're a fascinating species. And there's so much emotional depth to them. There really is. The mood swings. but really, there's so much to them emotionally. And I think that because of all of that, they're too much for most people. And they are a really cool pet, but I think that it's very important to understand what you're getting into before committing, because it hurts them so much when they're given away, when they're no longer wanted. Pigs really do bond to one person, and to see them given up, it's so hard on them emotionally. And if anything, I hope that my YouTube channel keeps that from happening for pigs. If somebody watches this video or my other videos and says, you know what, maybe pigs aren't right for me, or maybe they've already committed to one, maybe they can keep working through it by seeing my videos and seeing my help for them. They are emotionally and mentally as demanding as parrots, but the difference is that parrots are a lot easier to manage than an animal this size. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and you can see more of Petunia and my other animals on Instagram and Twitter. Bye!